Manchester as well. The British Prime Minister David Cameron is cutting short his holiday and flying home to attend a special cabinet meeting, a COBRA meeting at 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning. This is the scene live, I believe, that's coming to us. Do we have some live pictures? Yes, we do. This is a scene live at Waltham Abbey. Shocking scenes there unfolding in Waltham Abbey as we see a huge blaze where firefighters are struggling to contain the area. We're just going to try and get confirmation of what we are looking at in terms of what actually is alight there in terms of the building. But this is Waltham Abbey in Buckinghamshire. We don't know the circumstances surrounding this blaze, but this to me clearly appears to be the largest blaze so far that has unfolded within the last 3 days of the disturbances that have been taking place. We understand that it could in fact be a supermarket depot that is alight there, a major supermarket industrial unit perhaps in parts of Waltham Abbey. We are working very hard to get confirmation on that for you, but these are live pictures coming to us. I can now confirm that it is a Sainsbury's supermarket that is currently alight with some 750 people that actually work in that supermarket unit there in Waltham Abbey. It's unclear at this stage as to how much of what we have been seeing in the capital and in other parts of the UK is linked to this blaze that has taken place in Waltham Abbey. Just a correction for you, this is a depot, like a head office, if you will, for a Sainsbury's supermarket, not a supermarket itself. It is a distribution centre for the Sainsbury's chain. We are moving a little bit away with our helicopter away from those pictures, but we have also seen problems occurring also in Croydon, particularly, where we have seen fires ablaze there, and also most recently in Ealing as well. Just to bring you a line of breaking news that's coming into us, and this is from Bristol. Police are now reporting disorder in the area there, particularly within the last few hours. Damage to shops and cars. Bins have apparently been set on fire in several areas, including the city centre in Bristol, the main shopping areas of Cabot Circus and Broadmead and St Paul's, Stokescroft and St Werburgh's. Officers are now working to keep people out of the city centre, urging them to go home, and say most of the damage was caused by small groups moving around the city centre in Bristol. Police reporting that it's thought that those small groups numbering some 150. I should say it is 2 a.m. here in the UK, and clearly the fire services, the police forces in a number of areas, not just now confined to the capital, but in other areas of the UK, working to contain the disturbances that have taken place. If you are just joining us, just to update you, there have been disturbances reported in Liverpool city centre and surrounding areas there, with some 300 people causing buildings to be set alight, damages to local businesses and shops in Liverpool city centre. Also in Birmingham, West Midlands police have made at least 100 arrests in the city centre and surrounding areas as well, with some hundreds, if not 200 or 300 people reported there in the city centre causing disturbances. Also some information coming out of Manchester that minor scuffles have been taking place in Manchester, but it does seem that Liverpool, Birmingham and now Bristol are where these disturbances are focused at the moment. But this, the scene live in Waltham Abbey in Buckinghamshire, where a supermarket distribution centre is alight there, as you can see, the distribution centre linked to the Sainsbury's supermarket chain, We understand that some 750 people work at the distribution centre, which is called the Waltham Point Distribution Centre there. Clearly a huge building. We're just trying to get an idea of the square footage there, but firefighters are having a tremendous job to try and contain the scene there in Waltham Abbey. If you're wondering what has been happening in the capital, well, it has been quite hard to keep up to date with the developing movements of skirmishes that have been taking place. I say skirmishes, some larger protests and demonstrations, and also looting and violence that have taken place pretty much across the capital, from points north to south, east to west. One of the scenes that we've been concentrating on within the last few hours has been that of Clapham in the south of London. We understand that within the last hour it's quietened down there. To get the very latest, we can cross live to our reporter Will Grant, who is in Clapham for us. And Will, has it quietened down there?
It has quietened down in Clapham. In fact, things were so far under control that I've actually moved to another area in the city, another hot point which you've already referred to, which is Ealing. Now, Ealing, currently, I arrived in what I can only describe as the aftermath of hours' worth of looting or serious looting. You can probably hear the sirens approaching behind me. There are large numbers of police here now. I've counted, I'd say, about 10 different trucks of police vehicles coming through, as well as fire trucks. There is a police cordon which I'm standing in front of at the moment, and we understand there's been serious looting and fires. The other side of that cordon, which also includes major shops, major businesses, and bars, restaurants, this kind of thing. We can't get beyond the police cordon to see it for ourselves, because it does appear to still be an unfolding situation.
Will, thank you very much for that. Will Grant there for us in Clapham. Speaking, of course, there about the situation in Ealing in the west of the capital, where we understand that in particular West Ealing has been the scene of some active looting. A electrical store, a Panasonic store, has been looted there. Also, we had some pictures earlier of Ealing, of a number of buildings that had been set alight. I think we might be able to show you that. Possibly some pictures. We will try to bring you that as well. But just to reiterate what has happened within the last 10 minutes or so, there is a major unit ablaze in Waltham Abbey. It's in Essex, in fact. It is a distribution point for the supermarket chain Sainsbury's. This is the scene there live in Waltham Abbey. A huge fire ablaze there as firefighters are struggling to tackle that. That in Essex, some half an hour away from the east side of London. If you are heading that way, the Sainsbury's distribution point there, it is called Waltham Point, employs some 750 people there. So that's the scene of activity in terms of the situation unfolding, with the firefighters trying to keep that under control there. And that unfortunately has been replicated perhaps on a smaller scale, but in other areas of the capital, with fires reported in the west and still again in the south, where Will Grant was just speaking to us some moments ago. But also other parts of the UK also experiencing disturbances as we speak. We will keep you updated with that. We've got a correspondent in Birmingham that we're going to speak to within the next 5 minutes or so. But I believe we can cross live to Ealing and speak to a freelance cameraman, John Farrington, who was in the area. John, I believe you're now taking refuge in a local restaurant. Just tell us what you're seeing at the moment.
Well, I came out of Ealing Common Station around about midnight, and I was working on another project, and there was a sports shop just next to the station which was attacked as I was there. So I crossed the street and took my camera out and was filming youth just going inside, helping themselves. I was behind some members of the public, and somebody saw me with a camera, so they ran over, and I put my camera away. I've walked away from that hotspot now. There's people still walking into the store helping themselves, and there was reports of petrol bombs about 10-15 minutes ago, and people walking by with petrol bombs. So I've taken refuge in a restaurant just down from there, and the owners are outside with an array of weapons, wanting to protect the place, because we've been told that Ealing Broadway is now closed and that people are going to be heading down here quite soon, is the latest reports.
John, just stay with us. I need to bring some news to you. It's just a correction really on our part. We understand that it is the Sony distribution centre that is ablaze in Waltham Point, not the Sainsbury's chain that we initially thought. It's the Sony distribution centre in Essex. Some pictures I think we might be able to show you of that. That is very much the focus of activity in terms of a large-scale blaze that has erupted in Essex there. We will go back to those pictures and get you some more information there. But John, thank you for staying with us. Just describe to us in terms of numbers, how many people do you think are still on the streets of Ealing where you are?
Well, it is quieting down in this part of Ealing. There seems to be kind of groups of half a dozen people walking by, every few minutes. Obviously up to no good, and they seem to be just looking for trouble. And so going back to the owners are outside the restaurant, and I think they're going to do all they can to protect the place if they need to do. But I've seen cars driving by with the windows smashed and drivers looking, quite fearful. And there's, as I say, just drips and drabs people walking by every few minutes. And but apparently we're waiting for a big crowd to come by quite soon.
OK, John, thank you very much for that update. You're watching BBC News. Stay with us. More coverage coming up of the disturbances taking place in London and parts of the UK. So we are going to stay with the situation that is unfolding in London. It is a quickly moving picture with lots of information coming in to us, with a fire that has broken out at Waltham Point in Essex, in fact at a Sony distribution centre. We will bring you more on that. But on Monday, some of the worst rioting so far took place in Hackney in East London. Diane Abbott, who's the MP for Hackney, says the parents of those who are looting must help bring the situation under control.